WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Quentin Smith. A Starkville teenager is fighting for his life after almost drowning earlier today. OCH Emergency Medical Services Director Michael Hunt says a 17-year-old nearly drowned at a swimming pool at Golden Triangle Townhouse, which is just off of Old Highway 25. Hunt says the victim was transported to the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson and is listed in critical condition. Now, of course, we're going to continue to follow this developing story and bring you more details as they become available. It was an emotional night in Eupora as dozens came out for a prayer vigil in honor of Jerome Cullum. The 29-year-old was shot and killed early Sunday morning. Tonight, tears were shed and hearts were heavy as the community tried to come to grips with this tragedy. Those close to Cullum describe him as a loving father and a fun and outgoing person. During the vigil, people took to the microphone to sing songs, and there was also a video slideshow filled with pictures and memories of the Eupora man. 33-year-old Charles Potts is accused of killing Cullum and is now charged with murder. Now, initially, Potts was being housed in Webster County. However, due to safety reasons, he was transferred to another facility. Potts is being held without bond. Questions remain following the Saturday plane crash that killed 18-year-old Lake Little of Starkville. Today, the National Transportation Safety Board held a press conference in Oxford to begin answering some of those questions. Investigators are collecting what they call perishable evidence from the crash site at the University of Mississippi golf course. They believe Little was on a round trip from GTR Airport to Oxford and back when her plane went down. At this time, they still don't know the exact cause of the crash, but they are looking into several possibilities and gathering information.
From initial statements, we're told the aircraft was climbing out and made a turn and was slow and descended impacted terrain. We're going to ask air traffic control if they've got records of communications with the accident airplane.
Now, there is no official timeline on this investigation. Investigators say it could take anywhere from 6 months to a year to get a final report. A Eupora teenager is accused of selling a gun stolen from Lowndes County. On your screen is 19-year-old Jamarius Hayden. He's charged with the sale or transfer of a stolen firearm. Lowndes County detectives allege that Hayden sold a gun that was reported stolen from a Columbus home back in May. A man wanted by West Point police could also be facing charges in Starkville. 35-year-old Herman McGee is wanted for voyeurism by Starkville police. The alleged incident happened on July 3rd on Spruce Lane. However, McGee is also accused of stealing a car in West Point on June 19th. That alleged incident happened on Cul-de-sac Street. If you know where McGee is at tonight, you're asked to call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. And remember, you can report anonymously. The owner of a Pearl construction company finds possible evidence related to 2 prison escapees at his business. Investigators are looking for Jonathan Blankenship and Christopher High after they escaped the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility last Friday. The men left 3 duffel bags filled with their clothes, pillows, and some vegetables they may have collected along the way. Now, it's believed the men broke into a nearby business as well and made a phone call. Now, again, these men are considered armed and dangerous. Investigators are following leads, but the inmates are still out on the run. Well, shifting gears, it is now time to turn our attention over to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Quentin, right now, all quiet here. We had some good thunder showers around here today with some downpours and some lightning and some breezes. Right now, just a little bit of clutter showing that up. And the clouds that were in the wake of those storms still drifting overhead from time to time, but in general we're quiet and it's mild and muggy with temperatures still around 80 degrees in most spots here. So lows tonight down into the 70s. We'll do that again. It seems like that's been the story. Tomorrow 96, can't rule out a stray shower storm. Most spots will not see it. And the heat index, much like today, 104 to maybe as high as 107 or 108. Full forecast coming up.
Thanks so much, Keith. Houston voters will decide tomorrow whether alcohol sales will be allowed in the Chickasaw County town. Our Allie Martin has a look at the 2 issues on the ballot for the special election.
The citywide referendum asked voters 2 questions. whether to allow the sale of beer and light wine, and whether to legalize the sale of liquor.
Houston will make the decision whether or not to end prohibition.
Sean Johnson is director of the Chickasaw Development Foundation. He started a group called Houston Forward and collected enough signatures during the past year to get the issue on the ballot. Johnson says Houston is losing by not selling alcohol. He points to a study by the Mississippi Main Street Association in 2017.
And in that study, they showed how much loss we were incurring each year because of our lack of alcohol sales. As well, in economic development, a lot of the people that I'm talking to, they're looking at raw sales data for a community, how much money is being spent in the community. And Houston, because of our dry status, is getting a lot less of that. Our numbers aren't as strong as they could be.
Johnson says the proposals are strict. For example, only restaurants with professional kitchens generating more than half of their revenue from food sales can sell alcohol. Alcohol will not be sold after 10:30 p.m. Exterior advertising for alcohol won't be allowed, and no alcohol will be sold on Sundays. Johnson says Houston is the only dry town on the Tanglefoot Trail, and visitors, he says, are surprised when they can't get an alcoholic beverage. But some residents who didn't want to go on camera believe alcohol sales would lead to increased cost for law enforcement and treatments for counseling for alcohol addiction. That special election takes place at City Hall. In Houston, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Now, polls are open from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. on tomorrow. And I also want to point out, only registered voters in the city limits of Houston can vote in this special election. Well, paving roads can be expensive. That's why it often takes so long for repairs to be made. Now, one county is finding a way to save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our Stephanie Poole found out how supervisors in one county are smoothing things out.
It's all about the taxpayer, not about us.
Using that philosophy, Choctaw County supervisors from Districts 1, 3, and 4 are finding a way to pave roads on a slim budget. Road crews will do most of the work of paving and laying the asphalt. Materials for the projects are all county-owned. By not hiring a contractor, the county is expected to save $2,200,000.
To build a road that has a strong base under it, and all we have involved in is labor and trucking.
3 or 4 roads throughout the county will be paved over the next several weeks. Supervisors say they are saving taxpayers money on these projects and on their vehicles.
Anytime you can eliminate a gravel road to a paved road, it's a plus. Makes a homeowner's house be worth more, property worth more, less wear and tear on your car, easier to maintain.
Well, these people have been living on the gravel road for years, and just gives them opportunity to get all the folks that's in the towns live and get them off the gravel and on the pavement.
That was our Stephanie Poole reporting there. Now, construction on other roads will begin in 2 weeks. A $75,000 investment by a Choctaw County company will streamline production, keep work right here in Mississippi, and may lead to new jobs. A collaboration with Atmos Energy and Northern District Public Service Commissioner Brandon Presley is fueling an expansion at Brownwood Preservings. A new gas-fired kiln, which will unveil today, will allow the company to dry lumber on site. This will save Brown money on transportation and possibly ignite job growth at the plant.
Prior to this announcement, these poles that you see behind me were actually going to the state of Alabama to be dried. So this is not only keeping our products in the state of Mississippi, the operations here to be more efficient, but also they're already looking at adding another line here, and because we're able to offer a lower rate in the state of Mississippi.
Now, Presley has been pushing the expansion of natural gas service to rural homes and businesses.
Pretty quiet here on our Monday night. That's a live look in Columbus, Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, Tupelo, Louisville, Mississippi right there with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network. We do have some more heat, humidity, scattered storms, and maybe some tropical trouble, all in the forecast. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Summer storms let me start again. Summer storms often give us some interesting looking clouds, and you can see that one right there over south of Tuscaloosa in West Alabama. Associated with that outflow boundary kicking out, you can see the rain falling there, and we'll have some of that cooler air rush on out, and we'll get these clouds to form on ahead of it. But generally spooky, but pretty let's just say non-eventful as far as the active weather is concerned. Pretty nice time lapse there from Louisville, our Alpha Insurance camera network this evening. Notice the clouds drifting around after the storms have gone away, typical of this time of year. We are still around 80 degrees, more or less across the region. Lows tonight down into the 70s. 74 is a pretty good point. Pretty good average for us with calm wind. So another muggy one tomorrow, just like today, probably fewer storms. That means more sun and temperatures still in the mid-90s. Can't rule out a few storms. Rain chance is 20%, but the heat index maybe as warm as 102 already by noon, 106 in some spots in the afternoon. So low to mid, maybe upper 90s in some spots here on our Tuesday. The heat index well into the triple digits, not only tomorrow, but also for Wednesday, probably Thursday too. So get ready for it. The official heat alert, the heat advisory is back to the west, but you know, when we're talking about the heat index of 104, 105, 106, here, it's still going to be pretty bad. So just limit your exposure if you can. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and you should be okay. No really active weather expected for our day Tuesday. What you see here is Futurecast picking up on some of those puffy cumulus clouds, and some of those could spark a shower or storm, but in general, cover is pretty limited tomorrow. As we get into Wednesday, more or less the same story with a slightly higher chance for a few showers and storms. Our next tropical system would be Barry, and let's talk about this situation. There's this disturbance over here in Georgia, of all places, moving down into the Gulf of Mexico, and model data still suggests that somewhere in this outlined area later this week, in just a few days, could give rise to a tropical depression and maybe a tropical storm later this week. But there's a big ridge of high pressure trying to build to our north, and that could actually deflect whatever develops down there back to the west a little bit. So lots of uncertainty as the system will try to organize perhaps and then move back to the west. All of this is up in the air. It hasn't even formed yet. Hasn't even gotten to the Gulf of Mexico. But model data is picking up on something down there, and we'll keep watching it for you. But in the near term, let's concentrate on the heat. Mid-90s, the heat index into the triple digits. And if anything, Quentin, maybe some slightly higher odds of rain this weekend if some of that moisture from the Gulf can come this far north.
Calhoun City seniors are wanting to make 2019 a repeat of their freshman year. We take a trip to Wildcat Country later in sports. Welcome back. Summertime is pool time for many, but don't let that day in the water turn into tragedy. We learn more about water safety in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I am Dr. Lee Richardson, an emergency room physician at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight we will discuss how to stay safe in the water. Now that warm weather is here, everyone wants to be in or around the water. But while we were having fun and staying cool are top priorities, most people don't think about water safety. Drowning is the leading cause of death for people between the ages of 5 and 24. Learning to swim is essential if you plan on being in or near the water. Here are other tips for staying safe. Always swim with a partner, whether you are swimming in a backyard pool or lake or river. Get skilled. It's always good to be prepared. Learning life-saving skills such as CPR and rescue techniques can help you save a life. Know your limits. If you are not a good swimmer or if you're just learning how to swim, don't go in the water that's over your head. Dive safely. Diving injuries can cause permanent spinal cord paralysis and sometimes even death. Only dive in areas that are known to be safe, such as the deep end of a swimming pool. Never leave children alone in or near a pool or spa, even for a moment. Install a fence at least 4 feet tall around all 4 sides of a pool. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will discuss more water safety tips.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The only way is winning in Calhoun City. The Wildcats are next up on the high school football tour. See the preview coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
The 15th stop on our 1660 high school football tour checks in with the Calhoun City Wildcats. The historic run for Perry Lyles has come to an end in Calhoun City, but the Wildcats remain in good hands under former defensive coordinator Chad White. Plenty of younger guys returning in 2019, ready to continue the winning tradition that Calhoun City takes pride in.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
Calhoun City head coach Chad White has coached high school football for many years. So if there's one thing he knows, it's that no team is created equal. Each year, each squad is unique. His team for the upcoming season is no different.
This group here has had a great spring. They've worked really, really hard. Been very proud of them. Our numbers this summer have been great. And this group knows that hard work is the key. It's not just going to happen.
Hard work is the key to winning come August, and winning has become tradition for the Wildcats. 3 undefeated seasons, 33 winning seasons, 32 playoff appearances, the list goes on and on. This Wildcat squad has bought into the idea of keeping that tradition alive.
Been no complaining. When we've been out here working in the hot sun, no complaining. Everybody just been, hey, let's go, picking each other up.
Just keep up the hard work that we've been putting in, and take in plays and stuff as a sponge and learn every day to get better.
Calhoun City fell short last season after being eliminated by Scott Central in the North Half Final. That feeling has stuck with them through the offseason, and it's a feeling they don't want to repeat come this year.
Felt kind of down because I knew we could have beat the team to win, but we come back this year and win it.
We want to win state championship. This group that'll be seniors this year, we won it when they were freshmen, and we think it'd be great for them to go out, a state championship as a senior.
Even with some unfinished business, Calhoun City has been focused on staying in the moment and not working too far ahead.
We try to take it day by day. We've not talked about our first game yet. We just talk about trying to get better every day. We talk about them. The person that they've got to compete against is themselves. When we started the summer, we know that they're at one place. We told them when football season starts in the fall, we just want to be better. Look at yourself in the mirror and make sure that you've gotten better, and that's what we're looking for.
The Wildcats still have plenty of time to improve before their season begins on August 23rd. Reporting in Calhoun City on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Calhoun City High School was brought to you by Calhoun Banking Center and Weyerhaeuser.
Here are the upcoming stops on the high school football tour. Belmont coming up tomorrow, Boonville on Wednesday, Nettleton on Thursday, and then Amory to wrap up the work week on Friday. For those keeping track at home, go to our Facebook and Twitter accounts at WCBI Endzone to see the full schedule. And if you've missed any of the stops along the way, go to our website, WCBI.com. Hale State Hoops continues to shine on the international level. The Bulldogs left for Italy in hopes of bringing back a medal. That's now a given. Representing the USA, the Bulldogs pull off the fourth quarter comeback to defeat Japan in the semifinals of the World University Games, 89-84. Freshman Rakia Jackson starring again in the win, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. The Bulldogs advancing to the gold medal game, the 4th time the Bulldogs have trailed at the beginning of a 4th quarter and ended up winning the game in their international trip. The Bulldogs will take on Australia in the gold medal game, 1 p.m. Central Time. You can catch the game on the FISA, again that's FISA TV live stream. It's online only. Google search it, I promise. That's the way I found it. It's hard to find, but it's worth the wait. Mississippi State basketball continuing to stand out. Former Bulldog Quindary Weatherspoon balling in last night's Summer League game against the Hornets. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals in the Spurs' 106-96 win over Charlotte. The performance earning Weatherspoon a 2-way contract with the Spurs. Former Ole Miss Rebel Terrence Davis also showing out in the Summer League. In his debut, Davis leading the Nuggets with 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting, 5 of 7 from deep, adding 5 boards and 3 assists in the Nuggets' 84-79 win over the Orlando Magic. After the game, Davis impressed so much that the defending champion Toronto Raptors officially signing Davis to a 2-year contract with 1 year fully guaranteed. That does it for sports. We'll have the last year forecast coming up next.
Plenty of heat coming our way. Now, we had a few storms around here today, Quentin. I don't think we'll see as much tomorrow. So the heat's still going to be with us, high humidity, hope for a storm. Better odds later this week into the weekend.
Man, so if you're a person like me who dislikes the warm weather, you like the cool weather, I'm not getting that no time soon, am I?
No, you're stuck. Hey, it's July here. This is what we get, you know.
The beginning of July at that.
I know.
I kid you not. When I walked out of my apartment today, as soon as I stepped 1 foot outside, I started sweating. That's how hot it was.
Every day I go out and let my dog out at about 6 or 7:30 in the morning, and it just bakes me in that sun at 7:30.
And we're getting there for the rest of the week.
There you go.
Oh, man. Have a good night, everyone.